Tonight, powerful storms slam the Northeast. Heavy rain, flash flooding, and damaging winds from Philadelphia to New York City up through Boston tonight. Water rescues underway at this hour. A child carried from a flooded car. Cities just outside New York underwater. Rain pouring into New York City subways, trees and power lines crashing down. More than 1,000 flights canceled, thousands more delayed. Lee Goldberg with the forecast. That storm still churning right now, and he has the Halloween forecast as well. Also breaking tonight, Prince Andrew no longer a prince. The extraordinary announcement from Buckingham Palace late today. King Charles taking action against his younger brother, Prince Andrew, in the wake of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. What the palace is now saying tonight. This evening, the first grade teacher shot by her 6-year-old student and what she has now revealed about the moments after she was shot. What she said in court today. The government shutdown, day 30. More than 40 million Americans will lose their food assistance Saturday. Lines already at food banks. And millions of Americans are about to see their health insurance premiums skyrocket. Democrats demanding Republicans address the health care issue for millions. Republicans blaming Democrats for the shutdown. Tonight, President Trump says the U.S. will resume nuclear weapons testing. The U.S. hasn't done this in more than 30 years. The president is pressed, why now? And the U.S. and China end their new agreement for a year involving soybeans to those rare earth minerals used to build smartphones and TVs. The arrest tonight after the overdose death of Robert De Niro's grandson, federal authorities and what they revealed in this case. Alarming images appearing to show a police officer nearly running down a suspect with his cruiser and what they're now saying. A senior citizen cruise ship passenger left behind on an island. The boat left. She was later found dead, and now the investigation. The JetBlue flight making an emergency landing, suddenly losing altitude. We have learned multiple passengers have been injured tonight. And America Strong this evening, the father with a Halloween surprise for his 4-year-old daughter. You have to see this. Sesame Street was so impressed, Cookie Monster showed up.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. We begin tonight here with these powerful storms slamming the Northeast at this hour. Heavy rain, flash flooding, and damaging winds up to 50 miles per hour. Major airports in the area issuing temporary ground stops. Thousands of flights have been canceled and delayed tonight. The storm's firing up late today, moving across the Northeast, Philadelphia, up into New York City, right into Hartford, Boston, and New England tonight. Time-lapse video showing the storm as it rolled into New York City, the top of the Empire State Building, disappearing in the clouds. In Brooklyn, drivers and pedestrians suddenly wading through knee-deep water. This is in East Flatbush right here. Rain pouring into New York City subways as the evening rush began. Neighborhoods underwater in Hoboken, New Jersey, and flash flooding quickly washing out highways in and around New York City. A child seen carried away from a flooded car. This is Bayonne, New Jersey right here. Lee Goldberg standing by. He has the track of this storm tonight and the Halloween forecast for tomorrow. And Whit Johnson leading us off with the images coming in right now.
Tonight, powerful storms causing commuter chaos across the Northeast. Torrential rain flooding streets, swamping drivers. Winds gusting to 50 miles an hour, taking down huge trees. In Queens, New York, this tree snapping at the roots, landing right on that Jeep. Residents stunned.
The wind was powerful. It was like a tornado.
Trees crashing on overhead wires, shutting down New Jersey Transit's coastline. Just outside New York City in Hoboken, New Jersey, roads flooding instantly. First responders in Bayonne rescuing this woman and child.
It's gonna be okay, Annalisa.
After their vehicle stalled in floodwaters.
Look what the rain did. It made Brooklyn a flood.
The rain causing problems below ground too. Water pouring into New York City subway stations. High winds rocking the Philly area.
Gusts today in Philadelphia, 36 miles an hour, matching that in Trenton.
The system bringing flooding in coastal areas from New York to North Carolina's Outer Banks, where multiple vacant homes have collapsed into the ocean just this week.
And back here, David, at LaGuardia Airport in New York, these storms, the wind causing a travel nightmare nationwide. At least 1,000 flights canceled, roughly 6,000 delayed, and more than 2 inches of rain reported right here at the airport. That is a daily record. David?
Yeah, what a mess. Whit Johnson leading us off. Whit, we appreciate it. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg from WABC with us tonight. Hey, Lee.
David, what a fierce front moving through the Northeast tonight. We had 2 inches of rainfall rates in New York City. That brought some flooding and water rescues. And now that heavy rain moves up to Hartford and Boston. Roadways like I-84, I-90, I-95 impacted tonight. Then that rain will lift into northern New England. We also have coastal flood alerts through the mid-Atlantic. And heavy rain moves into northern New England. It will lift out tomorrow, but in its wake, very blustery for Halloween. Even some inland rain and snow showers. 40-mile-per-hour gusts right down to I-95. Melissa, a Category 2 hurricane west of Bermuda. It's off to Newfoundland by tomorrow night. David?
A windy Halloween tomorrow. Lee Goldberg, thank you. Also breaking tonight, the extraordinary announcement from Buckingham Palace late today. Prince Andrew soon no longer a prince. King Charles taking action against his younger brother in the wake of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. James Longman standing by in London.
Prince Andrew will no longer be a prince. The extraordinary announcement tonight from Buckingham Palace, pushed out of the royal family over his ties to the late convicted sex predator Jeffrey Epstein. King Charles stripping his brother of all his titles. He will effectively no longer be royal, something that has not happened in more than a century. He's also being kicked out of his royal residence. It's a scandal the palace has not been able to shake.
How long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew?
Just this week, the king heckled over it. Late today, the palace releasing a 3-paragraph statement saying the king initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles and honours of Prince Andrew, adding the prince will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The palace saying formal notice has now been served to surrender the lease on Royal Lodge, where Andrew has lived for more than 20 years. The palace statement ending, these censures are deemed necessary, notwithstanding the fact that he continues to deny the allegations against him. Their Majesties wish to make clear that their thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any and all forms of abuse. Andrew once hosted Epstein, Harvey Weinstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at that sprawling 30-bedroom mansion, seen here at an 18th birthday party for Andrew's daughter Beatrice in 2006. The Epstein scandal raging for years, with Virginia Giuffre alleging Epstein trafficked her for sex with Andrew.
He knows exactly what he's done.
A claim he denies.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
This, the notorious photo, the soon-to-be former prince with Giuffre at Maxwell's home, presented to him in this infamous 2019 interview, which backfired spectacularly.
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
Andrew claimed that photo was fake. Giuffre ended her life in April, but her recent memoir refocused attention on the case. In a statement tonight, her family saying, today, an ordinary American girl from an ordinary American family brought down a British prince with her truth and extraordinary courage, adding, today she declares victory. We, her family, along with her survivor sisters, continue Virginia's battle. And the big question facing Andrew tonight, David, how far will the palace be willing to go in any possible future criminal investigations and supporting police in them? David?
James Longman live outside Buckingham Palace tonight. James, thanks. Back here in the U.S. tonight, the first-grade teacher shot by her 6-year-old student in Virginia. What she revealed today about the moments after she was shot, testifying, I thought I had died. Here's Pierre Thomas.
Former first-grade teacher Abby Zawerner today on the witness stand, recalling the dramatic moment when a 6-year-old boy in her class pulled out a 9mm handgun and shot her.
I thought I had died. I thought I was either on my way to heaven or in heaven, but then it all got black.
Zawerner describing the surreal scene.
My next memory is I see 2 coworkers around me and I process that I'm hurt.
The former teacher's dramatic testimony came in the final stage of her civil trial, laying out her $40 million lawsuit, alleging that a Newport News school administrator ignored multiple warnings from staff that the boy had a gun that day. Body camera video showing the immediate aftermath of the attack. The bullet damaged her hand before entering her chest.
It went past the heart and just barely missed it.
The defense claiming that the former assistant principal followed school protocol and is not responsible for the attack. And they suggested that Zwerner is not as injured or as homebound as she portrays.
Ms. Werner has told the jury that she can't use her hand, and she's become a cosmetologist.
Revealing that she's attended cosmetology school, which requires the use of her hands. And they noted that she's gone to a number of concerts, including Taylor Swift. David, the defense is expected to start calling witnesses on Monday as this often emotional trial continues. David?
Pierre Thomas tonight. Pierre, thank you. Tonight, the government shutdown day 30. More than 40 million Americans will lose their food assistance Saturday. We have seen the lines at food banks across the country, and millions of Americans who rely on Obamacare are about to see their health insurance premiums now skyrocket. Jay O'Brien on the Hill again tonight.
Day 30 of the government shutdown and the clock ticking down for more than 42 million Americans set to lose crucial federal food assistance on Saturday. And tonight, New York's Governor Kathy Hochul declaring a state of emergency.
This is a food emergency, and I want to unleash every tool at our disposal to keep New Yorkers from going hungry.
In California, the governor deploying the National Guard to help box up meals. Every state but one now warning SNAP assistance will halt for Americans like single mother Melissa Miles in Michigan, relying on the program to feed her son.
I don't see how we are one of the wealthiest countries in the world, yet we're willing to let people go hungry, all because people can't communicate and agree.
Across the country, food banks scrambling. Our Will Reeve in New Orleans.
Volunteers like these folks here at Second Harvest in New Orleans are racing to meet increased demand. One volunteer here telling me that they're preparing for these benefits to expire as they would prepare for a hurricane.
The worsening food crisis now on a collision course, with the issue at the heart of this shutdown, expiring Obamacare tax credits. Starting this weekend, more than 20 million Americans will see how much their insurance costs could skyrocket. Paula Graham, a breast cancer survivor in Virginia, saying her premiums will quadruple to over $1,000 a month.
It's as basic as food. We all need to have access, and people should not go bankrupt for having a cancer diagnosis or an accident.
And David, Vice President J.D. Vance admitting today the administration is, quote, very worried about these skyrocketing premiums, but still no health care deal in sight to end this shutdown. David.
Jay O'Brien live up on the Hill. Jay, thanks. Tonight, President Trump says the U.S. will resume nuclear weapons testing, something it hasn't done in more than 30 years. The president was pressed why now, and the U.S. and China tonight in their new agreement for a year. Here's Rachel Scott.
Tonight, the White House was pressed to explain President Trump's surprise announcement that the U.S. will resume testing nuclear weapons for the first time in more than 30 years. The president revealing his plan just minutes before his meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping, posting, because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. On Air Force One, he was asked, why now?
It had to do with others. They seem to all be nuclear testing. We have more nuclear weapons than anybody. We don't do testing. We've halted it many years ago. But with others doing testing, I think it's appropriate that we do also.
Russia tested a nuclear-capable torpedo on Tuesday and a nuclear-capable missile last week. But those tests did not involve detonating actual nuclear weapons. The U.S. has conducted similar long-range missile tests for years. The president did not indicate how this new plan would be different. Tonight, Vice President J.D. Vance offering no details.
Does he mean the warheads themselves, the distribution, the missiles, and so forth? What's your understanding of these accounts?
Well, I think the president's truth speaks for itself. We have a big arsenal. Sometimes you've got to test it to make sure that it's functioning and working properly.
President Trump's announcement threatening to overshadow his much-anticipated meeting with the Chinese president to negotiate a truce in the trade war he started.
Overall, I guess on the scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being the best, I would say the meeting was a 12.
China promising to end its boycott of American soybeans and to crack down on fentanyl. In exchange, President Trump lowering tariffs on Chinese goods coming into the U.S. from 57% to still a hefty 47%. China also agreeing to lift restrictions on selling the U.S. crucial rare earth minerals necessary to power everything from smartphones to cars, but only for 1 year. Tonight, Russia responding to President Trump's plan for nuclear testing, saying what they carried out was not a nuclear test in any way. Currently, the United States and Russia have a moratorium on nuclear testing. Tonight, the Kremlin saying if someone violates that moratorium, Russia will respond accordingly, David.
All right, Rachel Scott, who's been traveling with the president. Come on home, Rachel. Thank you. 2 years after the overdose death of Robert De Niro's grandson, authorities arresting 5 suspects accused of distributing counterfeit prescription drugs laced with fentanyl. Authorities blaming the suspects for at least 3 deaths, including De Niro's grandson and the daughter of Blondie co-founder Chris Stein. Federal prosecutors say the deadly drugs were supplied by a network that preyed on teenagers using popular social media platforms. When we come back tonight, there's news just coming in. A JetBlue flight on its way to Newark losing altitude. Several passengers and crew injured. There's been an emergency landing. Also, the alarming images of a police officer accused of nearly running down a suspect with his cruiser. What authorities tonight are now saying about this right here. And a senior citizen on a cruise ship left behind on an island when that ship left. She was found dead, and the family is demanding answers tonight. In a moment here. Tonight, a JetBlue flight on its way to Newark making an emergency landing in Tampa after suddenly losing altitude while flying from Cancun. Several passengers and crew members were injured. Some were taken to the hospital. Tonight, JetBlue says that plane has been removed from service. There are alarming images appearing to show a Baltimore police officer nearly running down a suspect with his cruiser. The officer driving on the grass there, then the sidewalk. Authorities now suspending that officer. The state attorney is now investigating. When we come back here tonight, the senior on that cruise ship left behind on an island and later found dead. The family is demanding answers tonight and where this happened in a moment. To the Index tonight, a senior citizen on a cruise ship was left behind on an island in Australia, part of the Great Barrier Islands. She was later found dead. The passenger, Suzanne Rees from Sydney, disembarked with other passengers. Her daughter says the ship left without her. The company Coral Expeditions says it is fully cooperating tonight. When we come back, Halloween, of course, tomorrow, and one incredible surprise from a father for his 4-year-old daughter. He took an old go-kart, and what he's done tonight, all of Sesame Street is impressed. Finally tonight here, dreaming of candy tonight, Halloween tomorrow. And tonight here, the father and the surprise for his 4-year-old daughter. He took an old go-kart and a cue from Sesame Street, and what he built is America Strong. Tonight, the remarkable surprise from a father for his 4-year-old daughter. It got the attention of Sesame Street and Cookie Monster.
Sunny day, sleep in the clouds away.
For 56 years now, Sesame Street and their adventures. In recent years, Cookie Monster and Gonger and their foodie truck.
Do you like food? We make food in our foodie truck.
Learning about foods and where they come from. The farmers who grow them. The apples, the cranberries.
Here you go, fresh cranberries.
The Brussels sprouts.
Here are some Brussels sprouts.
Farmer Sam and the chickpeas.
Welcome to the chickpea farm.
Sure. So right before Halloween, Dad David in Columbia, Missouri, wrote to Sesame Street. He had transformed his brother's old go-kart into the Sesame Street foodie truck for his 4-year-old daughter, Graylin.
Hi, David.
Dad showing us how he made it.
This is just a simple little shower curtain. The metal grate here is old soundproofing. This is actually just a window insulation.
The tires.
These are actually just paper plates. Good use of an old fun noodle.
The lights.
There's just an old flashlight switch.
Ready for Halloween, and someone was very impressed.
Wowie, wow, wow, wow. Oh, hey, David, can you believe it? It's me foodie truck.
Cookie Monster and the Sesame Street team so impressed, they documented their trip to see it.
Wow, looks just like me foodie truck in here. Yeah, only a lot less crumbs. Yeah.
Then another surprise for Graylin.
Hi, Graylin.
Cookie Monster himself.
Hi, it's Cookie Monster.
The real Cookie Monster, like from TV and that
Hi, are you going to take this out on Halloween?
Yes.
Really? Whose eyes do those look like?
Whose are those? Who has them?
Cookie Monster's eyes.
Dad and daughter taking the foodie truck out for a spin. Tonight, they're ready for Halloween.
Happy Halloween! How's you, Cookie?
Good.
Yeah. Where'd mine go?
Graylin clearly warming up to Cookie Monster there. We love that foodie truck in Sesame Street, and of course, Cookie Monster. Years and years of Sesame Street. I'm David Muir. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Safe Halloween. Good night.
David Muir,
the most watched newscast in America. And now, ABC's World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the third year in a row.